In this video, and maybe the couple that will support it, we're going to talk about something controversial. It's controversial because despite the evidence to support it, no one wants to believe you can rewire your own brain. In the video about addiction, I opened a can of worms that was difficult to close back. I learned that dopamine does a lot more than just release some pleasure sparks when you do something you're addicted to. It does so much more. When I'm looking for ways to motivate you and myself, I want to know practical ways to do that. Spending time and money is a luxury some of us can't afford. It may be the reason you're looking for motivation to begin with. There's also that other problem where not everybody is the same. They have their own story, their own concerns. How do you motivate everybody? My first thoughts were just to put enough videos out there and maybe something would help somebody, something would resonate with someone out there. I know you may ask, what do I even need motivation to do to begin with? We're hoping some of our self-improvement videos will help with that. Emily, are you done with the credit series yet? I'm getting off subject. I've learned what you've always wanted to know. How to change how your brain works. Most of it has to do with dopamine neurotransmitters, but I don't want to get all sciencey on you yet. Geez, your eyes started to glaze over before I even finished the words. For now, let's just use dopamine to describe it. Maybe we'll discuss the specifics later. Dopamine, as you can remember from my other video, can do a lot of things for you. Doing mundane tasks become interesting time wasters. Lighting up a cigarette makes us feel normal again. Getting our next fix becomes a life or death thing. Lastly, do you ever feel bored? Yeah, dopamine hasn't got anything to do with that. Or does it? Yes, dopamine is literally the reason you're bored. He's like that guy that makes everything
a legend. Wait for it. And I hope you're not lactose intolerant because the second half of that word is dairy.
And when you're not doing something legendary, it's all you can think about. He's our internal yes man. How dopamine is triggered is based on the person and their own experiences. I say experiences specifically because that's what we're interested in. You see, it doesn't matter so much the person, but the experiences that have shaped them. Dopamine is triggered by a response that we've rewarded in some way, and dopamine is just following suit. The problem is it doesn't know how to stop. Once it's put into your wiring, it doesn't self-regulate anymore. It's interesting to think about how a dopamine trigger first started. Maybe your neural connections made the trigger originally because your friends thought something was cool and you just wanted to be cool too. The first dopamine trigger isn't too much of a concern. It can happen for a multitude of reasons. Maybe it's the first time you've tried chocolate. Maybe it's the first time your child has said his first word. Or maybe it's just a kiss. The feeling you get is different for each person, but it's like you're making a painting, and that one paint color stands out more than the rest. That one feeling or emotion stands out for a very long time, and it's hard to forget. I said the first dopamine trigger isn't of much concern to us. And that's because the first one rarely makes a physical change in your brain. These points only weld together when they're reinforced with repetition. After a weld happens though, it's quite difficult to undo. These welds, as I said, become an easy way for the brain to communicate what it does and does not want to do. We fall back on these easy ways of communication in times of stress. It's the exact reason why we tend to do things of habit when we are stressed. Nothing like lighting up that cigarette when your in-laws are in town. Am I right? The more we rely on those habits, the more welded they become. The stronger the connection, the more difficult it is to stop doing them. It's also more likely they become the go-to answer for our problems in times of stress. Let's summarize what we know so far. Each person is different. We're each different because of the experiences that we've had. Those experiences have made us who we are and how our brain communicates. When we're repeating these behaviors, when we're stressed, we default to, well, whatever worked before, which only points to us doing our habits again. I think that's enough for this video. I'm going to talk about it a little bit more in the next video, but I just wanted everybody to understand exactly what it is that's happening in our brain to make these connections. Maybe the next one we'll talk about how to make new connections. We do silly things from time to time, but I take your self-improvement seriously, and you should too. It took me a while to put these videos together and keep them entertaining. If you enjoyed these videos, please like and subscribe. It may help other people reach this video. There may be lots of other people who never get to see these videos because of how small my YouTube channel is. It's very difficult to stand out on this platform. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe, and it only takes a moment to create an account. I promise the only thing that you'll get from subscribing is seeing us here every week doing this same thing. Also, if you'd like to be notified when the next video comes out, click the bell button over here.